at us, we the comeback kids, kids, we the comeback kids.
Previously on In the Zone.
Now the cop-out. Ladies, somebody who's watching this, your only goal was to get married. You need to check yourself. You need to get yourself together. And you need to start living right now for a purpose. Then we have the holdout. So there's some sisters out there, your goal was to get married and your goal was to actually do well in your marriage. You wanted a good marriage. That's what you wanted. But see, when you were a kid, you got molested. So that right there, you have issues. You know, maybe somebody did you wrong. You were bullied in school. You have issues. Maybe, you know, people looked at you like you're a geek or you weren't good enough and you were just real clumsy and dorky. You have issues. You have self-esteem issues. You understand? Maybe people growing up, your moms or your pops, somebody wasn't there for you and somebody didn't pour into you. Somebody didn't tell you that they loved you. Matter of fact, they very rarely ever told you that they loved you and how valuable you were. Trust me, I understand the importance of that. I pour that into my boys every day. Everybody who knows me as a parent know that I'm always all over my boys. I'm telling them that they're a prince. They're going to grow up to be a king and that their wives are going to treat them like kings because that's what they know to look for. They know to look for a woman who's going to treat them like a king. I tell them how valuable they are. Even when they bring bad grades home, I tell them this isn't you. This isn't who you are. This is just what you did. That's two separate things. Don't ever bang on yourself because you bring home a bad grade. You can do better than that. You didn't have that, sis. You didn't have that. So you're broken now. You feel like there's some disconnect. There's something missing, and there is. But guess what? You can't undo the past. It's gone. It's done. Listen to me, sis. Listen. I need you to get it into your head that what's done is done. And so now you hold out in your marriage. And what that means is you want to give, but your fears will not allow you to give. You want to be the best wife you can be, but being the best wife you could be means being vulnerable. It means submitting. It means giving your all regardless of what your husband's doing, and you're not willing to do that because you're afraid, and so you hold out. Let me tell you something. My father passed away in August of 2010. And my mother said the only time my father ever hurt her was when he passed away. The day he passed away is the only time he ever hurt her. But she can't say the same. She said, I used to puff up my jaws and get upset. And all Daddy would do is he would put his hat on while I'm fussing. I'm going off. I'm just fussing. Bud this, Bud that. She said Bud would put his hat on and he would walk out the door. My father was a very even-keeled man. I never heard him raise his voice. Not one time in my life, never heard him raise his voice. He would put his hat on and he would walk out that door. And he would come back a couple of hours later, and you know what he would do? He would walk up to my mother. He would give her a kiss and he would hug her. And he would say, baby, are you done? And after a while, and it didn't take long, of my mother doing the same thing over and over and over again, and my father doing the same thing over and over and over again, my mother realized that she wasn't going to win this battle. So she said, I might as well join him. There's no need to try to fight against him because I'm just being angry and there's nobody to be angry at because I'm standing there at the kitchen sink by myself. And so my mother changed her perspective. She changed her perspective, but what she could have done is she could have held out. You understand? Because my mother had some pain that she had experienced from men, but she didn't. She saw his spirit and she let it go. My parents have been married for over 51 years before my pops passed. And I never saw them argue, not once in my life, and I'm 40. Never saw them argue. I have siblings who are all older than me. Never saw them argue. You understand? Because they chose not to hold out on each other. Ladies, are you holding out? Stop holding out. Then we have the dropout. Dropout, that's the most popular. It's the most popular. Very simple. You get married, you have a goal to get married, and you have a goal to have a very successful marriage. Throughout your marriage, things could be going very well, very well. But see, with ups, there's always downs, without fail. If you're married and you've not experienced a down, trust me, you will. And so with the downs, that's where the issue comes. With the challenges, that's where the problem comes in with you following through with your goal. And so instead of you having that vision of that beautiful wedding, that beautiful marriage, the wedding went off without a problem, but now we're in the marriage and whoa, I'm faced with something real serious. And so now you're in a quandary because what do you do? What decision do you make? Do I stay or do I go? You're in a quandary and you say, what do I do? Do I stay or do I go? But I'm finding out a lot of people, they're not taking the road less traveled. They're running. That's the dropout. Everything is great until you hit that wall. Everything is great until that challenge comes. Everything is great until the money, there's no more money in the bank accounts anymore. Your husband got laid off, or maybe he quit his job. Maybe he wanted to go into business for himself and you didn't necessarily agree with that. I mean, anything could happen. Anything could happen that could pose a challenge. He could cheat on you and you're willing to just walk out of your relationship. Yeah, I know. He cheated, right? I don't subscribe to because somebody cheats that you just walk away from your relationship. I'm sorry, one or two things happen. Either you married a dog or you married somebody who made a bad decision. And I bet you, if you look back, you helped push him over the edge. You helped to push him over the edge. Get it in your head. I need you to get this in your head because if you do, then your marriage will change and it will grow. It will grow, but you must change your thinking. The root of all maladjustment is in the thought process. It's in the thought process. If you want your life to change, if you want your marriage to change your thinking. Stop being a dropout. Stop running at the first sign of pain and hurt and challenges. Stand there and take it. Stand there and deal with it. Say, we're going to get through this together, baby. This is what we're going to do. It can be done. I'm not telling you something I read. I'm telling you something I know. I'm telling you something I've been through, that I've experienced. Listen, stop dropping out of the game. You're in the fourth quarter. You're only 3 points behind. And then you say, you know what? I'm just going to give up. I'm going to give up. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. All you have to do is make a 3-pointer and then a rebound. But you're not even willing to do that. You are right there. You're right there at the finish line. And if you could just get to the finish line, you win. But right before you get to the finish line, you see that somebody's right on your heels. And so you slow down and you back off. You back off and then that person speeds right past you. And they zip through that ribbon. And you've lost because you gave up. Then we have the all out. That's right. It's just that. It's going all out. All out. It's doing whatever you have to do. It's going above and beyond the call of duty. It's making it happen. That's what that's doing. You making it happen. You saying, I don't care what I have to go through. I don't care what I have to experience. I don't care what he does. I don't have no expectations. I'm doing this because I love him. I'm doing this because I want my marriage to be the best marriage that it can be. And the only way your marriage can be the best marriage that it can be is if you make it the best marriage that it can be. A lot of you are saying, you don't even understand. I've done this and I've done that. I've been the perfect wife and I've cooked for him and I clean for him and I go to work and I take care of the kids and I take care of the home and all this other stuff. And you think that that is just the route to a happy marriage? You think that's all it consists of? I mean, do you sit down and you talk to him and you ask him how his day is? When he walks through the door, are you so happy to see him? Are you genuinely happy to see him? And do you show him that? Do you embrace him? Do you hug him and kiss him, tell him how much you missed him? Do you take his briefcase and say, baby, go sit down and chill out? Can I get you something to drink? And you go get his favorite drink? I mean, what do you do? Shannon loves poppycock. Yeah, something simple. He loves poppycock. You know, he travels, he was out of the country. He came back, I had some poppycock for him. I went and got the boys and I a couple of gifts. I picked up a gift for him so that we could all have the same bracelet. So we all have the same bracelet. He has his poppycock, special certain ice creams that he likes. I know when I go to the store, you know I'm going to get that for my baby. That's what I'm going to do. Not because he picked something up for me, because I love him. And I want to make my relationship the best that I can be. Trust me, I wasn't always here. I understand, sis. I understand, ladies, what it's like not to give your all, not to give your best. I've done it, been there, and I was living hell on earth. It's not worth it. I was empty. I was broken. So I end by asking you, what are you willing to do? What is your level of commitment? Two things. How do you fix that? Number one, measure your level of commitment. As I said earlier, be honest about where you are. If you're not all out, then you need to be. If you're not all out, then there's some things that need to be changed. Sometimes we think we're at one place, but when we sit down and we evaluate and we place all the information on the table, we realize, okay, there are some things that I can do. There are some things that I'm not doing. And so then we are able to tweak that and get it to where we need to be. Sometimes we think we're at one place, but when we sit down and we evaluate and we place all the information on the table, we realize, okay, there are some things that I can do. There are some things that I'm not doing. And so then we are able to tweak that and get it to where we need to be. So you need to measure your level of commitment. Second thing is, once you measured your level of commitment, then you need to make your changes. As simple as that. Once you measured your level of commitment, there are some changes that need to be made. And it's all in the thought process. Everything that we do is based off of a decision. You could make the decision to do the right thing, or you can make a decision to do what you feel. And as you see, doing what you feel has not gotten you far, ladies. It's not gotten you what you wanted. It's not put you in a place where your husband values you. It's not putting you in a place where he can look at you and he say, yeah, that's my baby right there. She has my back. She'll do anything for me. It's not, you're not in that place anymore because you've not lived up to that. You've stopped living up to that, or maybe you never did. Measure your level of commitment. If you're not going all out, you want your marriage to go to the next level, I'm simply saying give it a try. Give it a try. For 30 days, give it a try. 30 days, go all out. Go above and beyond the call of duty. Instead of 12 figures, 400 figures and 9 scenes. Take your life to the next level. Live in the zone. Stop living on the surface. Stop living this mediocre life. Let's get this thing together. Let's save families. Let's save marriages. And let's start with our own.